Student. Hello student, this is lecture number 34. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about bacteria algae symbiosis. So these are the content of today's lecture. Bacteria algae symbiosis. So second topic we will learn here the factor affecting pond reaction, then algal growth and the oxygen production, and advantages and the disadvantages of oxidation ponds. So these are the some content of the today's lecture. So one by one we will learn it. First, bacterial algae symbiosis. So an oxidation pond is an artificial pond of a controlled design in which sewage can be retained for the sufficient time to satisfy the beauty. So oxidation pond is one of the artificial pond and in which that the sewage can be retained, sewage can be sustained or some time or sufficient time to satisfied with the building. The change in the character of the sewage and the waste matter occur due to the dual action aerobic bacteria and the algae. So in which that oxidation pond and the character of sewage and the waste matter occur due to the dual action. So and that dual action aerobic bacteria and the algae action. Aerobic bacteria use oxygen of the atmosphere whereas algae is the active in the sunlight. So here is a dual action which may happen related to the bacteria and algae, and the it's about bacteria, aerobic bacteria that is used or absorb the oxygen of the atmosphere, and the algae which are the active in the sunlight. This combined action will be called as bacterial algae symbiosis. This combined action which is called as a bacterial algae symbiosis. So is that clear? So what are the combined actions? Bacteria absorbs the oxygen from the atmosphere and whereas algae active in the sunlight. These two process or two things which may be happen combinedly, which is called as a bacterial algae symbiosis. When the aerobic bacteria. So first, previous lecture already I explained this picture of this figure. It's about a photosynthesis process with algae and bacteria. So algae active when the sea absorbs the sunlight. At that time, it can be generate a synchronized new cell, and at the same time, it can be oxidized oxygen, that oxygen absorbed by the bacteria and which produce a new cell. At that time it's again release the carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide absorbed by algae in presence of sunlight, in active sunlight. So when the aerobic bacteria and the algae live and work together for their mutual benefits. So this when the aerobic bacteria and the algae are the live and work together with their mutual benefit. Due to dual process, photosynthesis acting on the sewage, it break off a carbon dioxide produced during the carbon cycle from the carbohydrates present in the sewage. So you know that due to dual action, carbon dioxide produced during the carbon cycle, and at that time due to carbohydrate present in the particular cycle sewage, this carbon is used in a further production of the carbohydrates and release the of oxygen into the water. So you can already explain about it. So oxidation ponds are capable of treating successfully both the raw or a subtle sewage. So oxidation ponds are the capable for what treat successfully both a raw subtle as well as sewage subtle. But usually in a practice, subtle sewage is treated by this pond. The loading of sewage may be between 150 to 320, that means 150 to 320 kilogram per day per hectare with the good algae, that means the chlorella seeding at the 5 days of the BOD. So at the 5 days of the BOD, The good algae, it can be fluvius, it can be give the loading of a view that is about 150 to 320 kg per day per hectares. It's when happen, it's for a good algae or it's called as also chlorella. But in colder countries, efficiency are the very poor and the maximum loading are the about one fourth the above loadings. So, but in a colder country, it should be very, very lesser if your value. It's one fourth of above mentioned value. So these are the picture which me already explained in the previous lecture. This is about organic waste matter, organic acids, and what it is anaerobic conditions, and these are the early symbiosis forces is produce the overall things already explained in detail in previous session. Wastewater characteristic and the fluctuations. It's very important fluctuations. The factor affecting on the reaction. So we are seeing here the factor affecting pond reaction, wastewater characteristic and the fluctuations. This is the first of the factor which can be affect on the pond reaction. The environmental factor, so that can be affect on upon reaction. It may be solar radiation, light, and the temperature. Already many time I told you, temperature increases, the oxidation process will be decreases, and there such type of radiation, lights, light radiations, low light radiations, so all the factor which can be affect on the pond reaction. Algal growth pattern and their diurnal and the seasonal variation. So algal growth pattern is during time seasonal variation. It may be happen because in rainy season there are the minimum chances of the sun light or sun rays falling down on the earth's surface due to the cloud, and that during the day actions and the night action also it can be affect on the pond reaction. Bacterial growth pattern and the decay rate, solid settlement, gasification, upward diffusion, sludge accumulation. These are due to the bacterial growth pattern. Now next topic is algal growth oxygen production. So algal growth converts solar energy to the chemical energy in the organic form. Empirical studies have shown that generally about a 6%. So algal growth convert into solar energy to the chemical energy in the organic form. Empirical study have been shown that it's about a 6% visible light energy can be converted to the algal energy. So the chemical energy contained in the algal cells average of 6,000 calories per gram of algal. So chemical energy content near about 6,000 calories per gram of. You can imagine this. So depending on the sky clearance factor for an area, the average visible radiation received can be estimated as follows. So depending upon the sky clearance, if there is no cloud, and that time the visible radiation received from that is estimated as follows. So what are that estimated? You can see here. Average radiation, that is equals to minimum radiation plus maximum radiation minus minimum radiation into the sky clearance factor. So what are the exact sky clearance factor? We can see oxygen production occurs concurrently with the algal production in accordance with the following equation. See this following equation. The oxygen production occur concurrently algal production in accordance with what following equation? 106 carbon dioxide, the 6 nitrogen oxide and hydrogen peroxide, and the 120 that is water and the 18H plus ions, which can be produced what the C carbon, the carbon atom can be produced through that 106, and H hydrogen atom can be produced through 263, and oxygen atom 110, and N is nitrogen and nitrate 16, and P1 and 130 it's about oxygen. This is the oxygen generated through the algal process or algal productions. On a weight basis, the oxygen production is the 1.3 times of algal production. So on the weight basis, oxygen production is the 1.3 times of the algal production. They provide good solution for the sewage disposal in the tropical hot countries like India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Mostly it's a good solution of the oxidation pond. This we are going to discuss about the advantages in India and Pakistan. They were the hot countries. In the areas where open land is available, how rates they provide good technique of dispose of the sewage. The basic running cost of lesser than other conventional method like the active sludge process. So in the sewage treatment plant, there the second stage of the active sludge process is very costly as compared to the that active sludge process. This is very lesser than it. No skilled worker are required to labor cost also is less. Now disadvantage of this method, the minimum effluent standard of 30 kg per liter. So what disadvantage? Minimum effluent of standard near about 30 kg per liter Indian standard as well. For the suspended load is not maintained. This is one of the disadvantages. They are the open pools of the water. So they that is the open pool of that is open to the atmosphere. They provide an ideal condition for the growth of mosquitoes. They are create bad odors. So due to open trail, their growth of mosquito picture मिळू शकतात. They create bad odor due to the open in the atmosphere. This is the disadvantage. They are possibly used in the rural area only as the cost of the land in the urban area is too high to use it for such fund. So if you cost point of view of the land, we can see this is not possible. This is a large area and the hectare area which is required for this oxidation or stabilization pond. Okay, thank you for attending today's lecture.